This morning, fans around the world are remembering wrestling star Hulk Hogan.
Yes, the 71-year-old died in Florida after medics were called for an apparent cardiac arrest. Joining us now is ESPN reporter and author of Say Hello to the Bad Guys, Marc Raimondi. Good morning. Thank you so much for being with us.
Of course, happy to be.
Okay, Hulk Hogan is one of the biggest, if not the biggest wrestling stars of all time. Can you just talk about, I think back to my childhood, and like he made me eat my vitamins. What impact did he have, though, really on professional wrestling and pop culture? He really changed things.
He definitely did, absolutely. In 1985, which is when WrestleMania 1, the first one, was held at Madison Square Garden, the wrestling business was splintered. It was kind of made up of a bunch of regional promotions around the country, and Hulk Hogan and the WWF led the wrestling business to a much more centralized national mainstream product, kind of like what we know today with WWE. And Hogan was the guy. He was the big star of the 80s in wrestling into the 90s. In the ilk of a Stallone or Schwarzenegger, he was an action hero. He was not. He was in movies as well, but he was known more for professional wrestling, and he was the guy in pro wrestling for really 2 decades, if not longer. No one has sold more tickets in the history of wrestling than Hulk Hogan.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely, Mark. We all remember when Hulk Hogan picked up Andre the Giant and slammed him and defeated him. What were the key turning points, would you say, in his career that redefined or maybe challenged his legacy?
Yeah, he one of the ones was early in the 90s when he admitted under oath that he used steroids. And the catchphrase that you guys mentioned earlier, say your prayers, eat your vitamins. It turns out that he was taking more than just vitamins to get that physique, and that was a tarnishing thing early on in his legacy. And then he was able to rebuild himself by going over to a different promotion, WCW, and becoming a bad guy, and that kind of led to a big boom period in wrestling in the 90s. And then in the 2010s, he had some outside the ring scandals, controversies. There was the leaked sex tape, and then there was the leak of a tape where he uses very vile language, the N-word, racist language, calls himself even I'm a racist. So just things that really tarnished his legacy later on in his life and his career. And it's hard to parse like the character, Hulk Hogan sometimes with the man Terry Bollea, which was his real name. That's kind of the wrestling business, though, right? It's complicated, and you don't really know where the persona starts and ends, and where the person begins.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think for people of our generation, too, you did watch him. He did have you eat your vitamins and do that kind of thing with wrestling. But then you had the reality television show. And I think so many of us, when you talk about kind of the change in legacy, you saw him as this great dad and seemed like amazing husband. And then just, a few, I think, months after the show ended, he's getting a divorce and there's allegations of infidelity. Do you think his larger-than-life hero persona still resonates with fans? Or people are nostalgic for that? Or do all these little transgressions kind of tarnish his legacy?
It's complicated, right? And that's the thing about Hogan and a lot of our stars and heroes of yesteryear, where they're problematic in many ways off the court or off the field or out of the ring. And we remember them for what they did, in sports or entertainment, and we love what they did as their personas and characters. But sometimes the human being does not live up to what the character was, and
humans are complicated.
I mean, that's what it is, and yeah, I mean, I'd be lying, guys, if I said that it didn't affect his legacy to an extent, certainly. But I do think that many people will still remember how he made them feel when they were kids, like as you guys mentioned.
Yeah, and Mark, a little more on that. It has been said that the business of wrestling is larger and more lucrative because of Hulk Hogan. So how will his legacy maybe continue to shape wrestling, the business of it, and the sport in the future?
Yeah, I mean, if there's no Hulk Hogan, then there may not be a WrestleMania 1. There's no him body slamming Andre the Giant in front of 80,000 people. Their rematch did 33 million viewers on NBC, on Freedom TV. And then in the 90s, he led the boom period where more than 10 million people were watching wrestling every Monday night for years. And again, if there's no Hulk Hogan, what does the business look like? WWE is on Netflix right now. They're a multi-billion-dollar company. There are even smaller promotions out there who are doing, big revenue and big gates at stadiums in the country. AEW is the #2 promotion, and it's very healthy. I'm not sure what the industry would look like right now if not for a guy like Hulk Hogan, because it's a star-driven industry, and there was just no bigger star than Hulk Hogan.
Absolutely.
Marc, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Really appreciate your expertise.
Thank you.